I'm Greg Ayers, and you're watching the Fans POV.
And are you an officially licensed maid?
You know, I could have gone up, I could have gotten my certificate, and I'm not quite sure if that would have been a particularly proud moment for me, though. So why don't you tell everyone what you're dressed as and everything like that?
Well, currently I am dressed as the Bat from the Superman Red Sun comic book.
How's Comic-Con compared to like the AVN Awards?
You know, it is so much bigger.
Would you permit us to draw a dick somewhere on your clothing?
Yeah.
So if you...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ernie Legg with the Fans POV, the Aftershow. And over here to my right, your left, is the very young, the very talented, the very handsome. Anything else you want me to add to that list? Or?
No, you can keep going.
I'll keep going. Oh, it's I don't know what else. The very muscular, the guy who can knock me out in less than 3 seconds, actually kill me like 3 times in that span as well. Mr. Tony Oliver himself. Let's give him a round of applause. Yes, we got to. Your wife didn't give you a round of applause. That's not a good thing. All right. So how are you doing today?
Doing great. It's you know, it's day one at Otakon, and it's been busy already.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine that, especially with this heat. So how do you feel about the heat here? It's like I think 101 at noon today. It feels like 110 outside.
I hate to sound like a cliche, but it's not the heat; it's the humidity. I'm from California, and it gets hot there, you know, but you know, it's not 100 degrees and 100% humidity like it gets here. So it feels like I'm calling it oven hot.
No, I could see that. Like, did you try putting like a hot dog outside, see if it would cook?
No, I'm thinking, and we had a little pizza last night. I'm thinking of taking it out of the refrigerator and just putting it outside for a while. It should be fine.
I'm sure it is. All right. Well, now, first up, is there anything new that you're working on now?
Well, I just finished directing the series K-On!, which is just releasing right now, and in fact, the K-On! Cast is here, and they're actually doing a concert on Saturday. So we actually have the voice actors who did the parts actually singing the characters at the concert, and they're doing it in Japanese, so that's cool, considering none of them are Japanese, so it was a lot of work for them.
All right, now, how was it directing the K-On! Cast? Was it difficult? Was it easy to do?
Well, it's pretty easy. What's nice about it is there's some actors in there like Cassandra Lee, who I've never worked with before, although she's well known for Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! When she was in New York, and she came out to Los Angeles. So I got to work with her and Shelby Lindsley, who's another new actress, who's a wonderful singer, but she's just getting into the acting thing, and Christina V, of course, you know, who's a fan fave, and she's always wonderful to work with, and Stephanie Shea, who's established, and she's a fantastic actor. I love working with her. So it was a great experience, especially because it's a show that I didn't expect to like that much. Yeah, well, you know, to me it looked like, oh God, it's another Haruhi, or in high school, you know, girls and
it's like in that genre of like.
Yeah, but it turned out to be a really nice character show. With really sweet stories and a lot of great music, and that combination, I started in music, so I kind of have an ear for it and appreciation for it. But it turns out I really ended up really liking the show a lot, and especially the characters. Somebody said it's one of the greatest shows where nothing ever happens, but it's because it's really about the relationships between them, and that's what I liked most about it.
Okay, now speaking of music, now if you ask anybody like 5 and older, to recite the theme song to Power Rangers, everybody's gonna be like, "Go, go, Power Rangers!" Yeah. Now, the music was essential to that series. Did you have a hand with that, or is it just something completely different that you couldn't really control?
No, actually, the music we had a composer, Ron. He's gonna kill me. The name.
Don't worry, well, I'll cut that part out.
But no, he actually, Ron Weisman, thank you. But Wasserman, thank you. It's Ron Wasserman. Good grief. But he created a great song, you know, and it was created especially for the show. And I love the simplicity of the lyrics, because that is the lyric. Go, go, Power Rangers, go, go, Power Rangers. Go, go, Power Rangers, you mighty Morphin Power Rangers, go. That's the entire lyric to the show. Little secret to that is that he had planned to have this very soulful female singer come in and sing it, and what you hear on the show, it was actually the demo track that he presented it with his voice singing it, and a couple other people. He presented it to Chaim Saban and to get approval so they could go get the singer to come in and sing it, and he went, no, I want it exactly that way. So what you actually hear on the TV show was the original demo that was written to get approval on the song.
Okay, now the demos there, like, was that the full song, or was it just those simple bars? Oh, okay, so that was it, and then they added onto it as the show got more popular with it. Now, we're going on with Power Rangers a little bit more than that. So, what Power Rangers really kicked off in the 90s, the resurgence of the martial arts scene, where kids became more disciplined, they became more active. Why do you think, and then other shows followed suit with this, such as, you know, VR Troopers and Masked Rider and all that. Why do you think Power Rangers was much more popular than its siblings?
Well, because it was the first. I mean, when Power Rangers first came out, there was, you know, the competition was X-Men, which the company that I worked with, Saban Entertainment, actually had something to do with. So it was kind of funny that they were competing against themselves. But X-Men, where you had all these flawed heroes, and then you had like Little Clowns of Happy Town, which was kind of silly, you know. So we were able to put out a show that was different than anything anybody had seen before, with very 5 and later 6 super squeaky clean heroes who were still cool. And so I think it was having the coolness factor, along with the martial arts, along with the fact that it was oriented to kids, that made the big difference. You know, a lot of it is history, and frankly, VR Troopers I worked on, and so I worked a little on Masked Rider too. All of those shows came out of the same company, but it was because it was the first, and because we really tried to make it a cartoon. I mean, Hayam Saban said that he wanted a live-action cartoon, and that's what we created. Where the other ones took a little different tack. And Masked Rider, of course, was a take on Kamen Rider, which I think the fans who really loved Kamen Rider didn't love that one so much. But we created a little Furbus character and all that stuff that was very cool. So, but I think it was just the fact that it was the first time out, you know.
Now, Power Rangers was more of a kid show, and you would definitely be a part of that, and you revolutionized like kids television throughout the years. Were there any shows that like you liked when you were growing up?
Oh, when I was growing up, I was a big Johnny Quest fan, actually. Yeah, when I was growing up back in the days in the 19 burrs. Yeah, I was a big Johnny Quest fan. I liked the Beatles cartoon when they had a Beatles cartoon. I was really into that. I was a big Bugs Bunny Roadrunner. I lived for those.
You lived on the Looney Tunes thing?
Looney Tunes, that was it to me, which is one of the things that surprised me. I'm a voice actor because I thought coming out of that, in order to be a voice actor, you had to be Mel Blanc. You had to have those voices, and
like all different ranges is what you're saying.
Yeah, and it turns out that you didn't. So I kind of stumbled into voice acting as a result of that.
All right, let's go into that. You know, you've been voice acting since back in the day. We'd rather not say the year, but voice acting, the process of it is obviously different nowadays than it was back then. How do you compare the two? How do you compare the two eras of voice acting? Like, sort of like, we'll go back with like the 80s and 90s, and then compare it to like the new millennium. How would you differ the two?
Well, there's a couple of differences. First of all, technologically, it's very different. When I was doing Robotech, I mean, we worked on tape, on 1-inch 8-track tape. So if there was, you know, there was some 20 characters in that show. Well, if the character that you happen to be working against was recorded on the other reel, you couldn't hear it back. I mean, we still worked one person in the booth. Anime is done that way. You work one person in the booth at a time, and you just do all your lines, and then you kind of build a track. So technologically, it was a lot slower. We took a lot more time to do it. The microphones weren't as sensitive as they are now. I mean, Kyle Abear's got a great line about microphones today are so sensitive they can hear your food digest. And it's true. Yeah. It's true. It's true. Back then, you could have a party in the corner, and as long as it wasn't in front of the mic, you couldn't hear. We were learning. We were learning how to do this. There was you know, dubbing had been done for quite a while. You know, since there was foreign language films coming in the United States, they'd been dubbed. But to actually create a new show that was dubbed, you know, because Robotech was a combination of 3 different TV shows that were kind of combined together. And we were kind of learning how to do that and how to make it sound not dubbed. Also, in terms of anime, nobody knew what it was. I mean, I would tell people what I was doing, and they go, "What? Is that Japanimation stuff?" You know.
Is it those Japanese cartoons that I keep saying?
Yeah. You know, and I mean, I watched Japanese cartoons when I was young. I just didn't know they were. I didn't know Speed Racer and Gigantor and Kimba the White Lion were Japanese when I was little. But you know, now it was like okay to say so. So nobody knew what it was. For me, there wasn't as much competition because of that.
Yeah.
You know. Now, technologically, whereas we used to maybe record, anywhere between 10 and 15 lines an hour. In the old technology now with computers and digital everything, it's 40, 50, 60 lines an hour. And so it's a lot faster. The pace is a lot faster than it used to be in terms of getting to your character and getting to act. Also, there's a lot more competition now. I mean, there are people like Yuri Lowenthal, Christina V, people like this who grew up watching anime and always wanted to be a voice actor in anime, and now they're coming. So the actors coming to the table now are much more skilled. They know the genre better. They're into it. They're otaku themselves very often, and so it's made it a lot more competitive to get into it. And there's a lot more of it now. Everybody knows what anime is. Look how many people are here today.
Exactly, yeah. I think there's like good at least 31,000 people that are packed inside there now. Now, you could say you sort of were going into voice acting, sort of a pioneer in it, and you had the chance to really, throughout the years, see different roles played by different people, different shows. Is there a role that you ever wanted to play that never got the chance to do it?
Not so much a role as a show. Yeah, I auditioned 3 times for Cowboy Bebop, and I didn't get cast in any of it. They actually read me for Spike, and it was funny because as I'm reading the script and I'm doing my audition, I'm looking at this going, I'd hire Steve Bloom for this, and that's exactly what they ended up doing.
So it's like, oh, I chose the right guy for this, but
yeah, but I didn't get it. So it was more Cowboy Bebop is the only one of those shows that I wish I'd gotten, but never did. The role, I've been very fortunate with the roles I've had, and I have no complaints at all.
All right. No, that's a good thing. Live with no regrets. I like that. Now, with the roles that you play, they're mostly made for kids. They're mostly made for children here in the United States. But in Japan, it's more. Some of the roles are more adult. There's some adult themes going on with it. How difficult is it to make an adult show, a show made for adults in Japan, make it for children here in the U.S.?
Well, fortunately, we don't have to do that anymore. I mean, most of the stuff that I've worked on that was for kids was originally intended for kids out of Japan, and the other character, whether I'm directing or voice acting, the shows that are intended for adults, we really produce them with the intention of adults seeing them. So, for instance, I did the role of Harry McDowell in Gungrave, a very dark, very violent show. And we didn't make any alterations at all. The difference maybe is in acting style. When you're doing for kids, you have to play things a little bit broader, a little bit happier, which makes those situations when I get to do something like Harry a lot of fun because we get to be dark and adult and do some real acting and that sort of thing. So fortunately, we don't have to do much of that. Yeah. So.
No, that's fine. Now. We'll go on a little bit lighter note. Crazy fan story. Every celebrity always has like some of the craziest fans out there. Do you have a crazy fan story that you can share with us?
I have to think for a moment. Most of my fans aren't any crazier than most anime fans really are. I've had people ask me to sign body parts. I don't do that.
There's advice for you. Tony Oliver will not sign a body part.
I've had people come in to autograph sessions with a stack of things this big, and I did have one. There was one fan. He wasn't necessarily a fan of mine, but he was an anime fan, and he just wanted to be a voice actor. And he just kind of went nuts on everyone, and just kind of trying to do their parts, and until we finally had to calm him down, going, that's really not how it works. So it's I haven't had too many. I've been pretty lucky that way.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. No, nothing. It's good to at least have some sane fans out there. Yeah. So, all right. Now, one final question I do have to ask is that a lot of the questions that we got today were from the fans themselves. Oh. We asked them. It's like, what do you want to ask to Tony Oliver? And they submitted some questions to us, and we chose the best ones. Mm-hmm. Now it's your turn to ask the fans a question. We're giving you the chance now. If you had the chance to ask the fans any question you want, what would it be?
Give me a second.
Hey, no, that's fine.
I love editing, by the way.
So do I.
Wow. Okay. What anime title do you really love? Did it really touch your heart, and why?
Good question right there. I like that one a lot. So, all right, so make sure you guys leave a comment down below. If you want to see the full interview with Tony Oliver, make sure you check on our website, outatimproductions.com. And I'd like to thank Tony yourself. Thank you very much for the interview.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll see you next time.